on, it happened. They finally did it. The developers of Redfall, Arkane Austin, actually published a big update, Game Update 2, which brings performance mode to the Series X and S versions of the game, improved PC performance, stealth takedowns, a bevy of new controller settings, more open world encounters, and a lot more changes. Oh baby! Now just a few short weeks ago, I made a video on Redfall, trying it again to see if they ever fixed it, which at that point, they hadn't. But the broader point of the video was that Arkane Austin and Xbox in general has been really quiet about the game ever since it launched to less than stellar reviews. In fact, you can see that October 6th is when they published this update, and before that, it had almost been a month since their last post, and prior to that, they did like weekly little GIFs and stuff, and that's it. No word of what they were working on, if they were doing patches, and bear in mind, they still owe people a lot of DLC. They sold a bite back premium edition of the game for $100, and they still have yet to deliver the biggest pieces of content for this deluxe edition. Not the cosmetics, who gives a crap about those, but rather the Redfall Hero Pass, allowing you to play as 2 new playable characters entirely that up until this point have been totally MIA. But you know what? I have not looked at these update notes. I've not tried it. I just got back from vacation like an hour and a half ago. All of my family is upstairs taking a nap, but I wanted to try this. So let's see what they actually have changed. Okay, Redfall Game Update 2 release notes. Today's update brings performance mode, blah, blah, blah. We read through all of that. Let's see actual improvements made. I mean, all of this is just like general performance improvements. That's good, because even when I tried the game a few weeks ago, there were a bunch of bugs still and weird performance hitchings and stuff. So I'm hoping when we boot up the game, we don't see any of that stuff anymore. There's also a lot of stuff about user interface improvements, accessibility changes, things like, you know, labeling different things in different menus that would have been previously confusing. They've also added stealth takedowns with staked weapons, which is actually kind of cool. It's amazing that that wasn't in the game to begin with. And it looks like they've made some much needed AI improvements, like having enemies repositioned so they don't shoot each other. That's great. Honestly, when you're reading through all of these, it's just kind of amazing that a lot of this stuff was here in the base game when they launched it. Like they didn't have AI smart enough to avoid getting shot by each other. It's just really funny to me. But these two are probably the most vague and interesting. Increased open world enemy population and mission encounter balancing, added unique open world enemy encounters in Redfall Commons. Basically, they claim to have added encounters and more things to do out in the world. So let's see if this actually makes a difference. And that's very interesting to me, because I would love for this to be a comeback story a la Kim Kardashian, and for it to just blow us all away in the best way possible. And rather than just looking at patch notes and what people on Twitter say, I'm actually going to try it myself and see if it plays better. So let's check it out, boys and girls. I'm also going to install it to the Xbox Series S next to me, and we're going to try it there as well. Also, shout out to anybody who got my Kim Kardashian comeback story gag from the Parks and Recreation like gag reel that they posted in like 2013. That's a throwback.
Everyone loves a good comeback story, right? Seabiscuit, the Mighty Ducks, Robert Downey Jr.
Kim Kardashian.
Well,
in the video she gets cum on her back, I think.
But okay, here we are in Redfall. Let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go into settings. They've changed a couple of things around, but in general, it's going to be pretty close to the same, at least on PC. They do have the option for like DLSS stuff that I can crank. Previously, in previous versions of the game, when I tested this like weeks ago, turning on DLSS actually led to lower performance, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So hopefully now it's fixed and we'll actually see improvements. As you can see in the top left, we have about 190 frames a second going right now. It looks pretty silky smooth, and
Nightlife has definitely
I think
improved.
the big test is going to be when we cross this little threshold up here, which normally causes the frames to drop pretty precipitously. Let's see if that happens. So far, so good. I mean, it's not running like the most stable. There's still mad poppin'. and model swaps and texture swaps and stuff. But honestly, this is way better than it was, so I'll give them credit. Just look at that tree, and then when we scope, you can see how heavily it shifts and changes. So that's still there, and as we run closer to it, you can see the models swapping in very clearly, but that is not like the end of the world, so I won't like throw that big of a fit. But still, I mean, I'll be honest, right away, I can tell it plays a little smoother. I feel like the bullets are more responsive and they're actually hitting faster. It doesn't feel like I'm shooting a water gun. It actually feels better. That's good. Okay, do you guys want to see me call in my vampire boyfriend? Watch this. Watch this. It's gonna be cool, okay? I'm gonna go up to my vampire friends and I'm gonna call in my vampire boyfriend, okay? It's gonna be so cool. Hey, go fight for me. Fist bump. Yeah. We're so cool.
How many you got, Layla?
It's so stupid. So right off the rip, I can already tell that it feels better to play in combat, at least. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It feels tighter. It feels like when you're shooting, the bullets actually hit the target faster. There's not a weird delay with it. Everything is just smoother. And that could just be that the frame rates are higher, and so that makes it feel that way to me. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know it feels better. And whatever the cause of that is, maybe it doesn't matter so long as the effect is the same. Come here, bitch. So, I mean, core gameplay is the same. It's not like they've changed the game completely. It's the same thing as before, but it feels better. I'll give them that. And you know what? I think this is the operative question. Like, they've polished what has been considered to be a turd here. And so it's a shinier turd, but it's still kind of a turd. You know, if you're one of those players that liked Redfall to begin with, in other words, if you just liked turds before they were shiny, you're probably still going to like this. You're probably going to like this even more and be even more obsessed with it. And in which case, more power to you. I'm glad. Props. But if you are like most players and you're playing this now and trying to get into it, I don't think anything magical is going to happen. I think you're just going to feel more of the same. What is he doing? Okay, he's hiding behind cover. What are they doing? Okay, like the AI is still a little weird. It does weird stuff. Anyway, what I was saying is that if you didn't like Redfall before this isn't gonna magically change your mind. Like, yeah, it's better, but that's not saying much, because better than like a 5 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 is only like a 5 or 6 out of 10. It's still bad. It's better, but it's still bad. Like, I do want to give them a little bit of credit. They went back, they did patch it and make it better, which it's honestly more than I thought they would do. I thought they were just walking away because they hadn't said anything about the game in months to their fans who were still trying to enjoy it. So I'll give them credit. They still did the thing. I think they got a lot of work still to go. And honestly, even with them doing what they promised they would do, they need to be more transparent with it, and they need to talk to the community more than just dropping an update before Halloween that slightly improves a totally broken game. They just got to do more than this. I'm glad that they still went this far, but it's just not enough. And honestly, even now, if you go onto their Twitter page or their official website or whatever else, there's still no clear answers as to whether we're getting those DLC characters, if we're going to see that fulfilled, or if they're just going to walk away from it if not enough players return to it. And seeing that the landing page on their website hasn't changed really at all since it launched is just a little disconcerting when you consider that they've been very hush-hush on whether they're actually going to deliver the promised package to people who paid as much as $100 for the premium edition of the game. But I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think it makes a difference. Like, even if they bring those DLC characters, I still think people have largely just given up on the game and moved on. And I think that's reflected in the fact that even after they released this update, which brought 60 frames to console and new gameplay encounters and stuff like that, fixed a bunch of bugs, balancing issues, the Steam player counts are just, I mean, they're so sad. Like, they were down into the single digits, like 5 players at one point. Previous to that, 5 players, 6 players, you know, peaking out at like 36, 35. Wow, that was a good day. And then they announced the patch on the 6th, and it shoots up to 58 players. Ooh, baby. And then the day after, 59. And then today, it's like 53, 51, right around there. I'm one of these people, so the number's a little skewed. So clearly PC players outside of the Xbox ecosystem are not really that impressed with this. The numbers could be much more impressive on Xbox, and maybe they are much more about this update and are loving it a lot more. I'm not sure if I'm convinced by that, but you know what? I'm gonna boot up the Series S version of the game and we're gonna see if it runs as smoothly as they're saying, and if magically that changes my opinion. But you know what? Let's see. Okay, so here we go on the Series S. Let's see if they actually got this thing running. I don't actually know if the performance mode also works on the Series S or if it's only the Series X. We're gonna find out though. We're gonna find out real quick. Okay, we are in. Things are popping in slowly. That's pretty normal though. And here we are. Now, as is, it looks like we're currently at 30.
Time to get out there and
So,
kick
oh
some
God.
monster butt.
So I'm going to go into the settings. Oh my God, the motion blur. And we're gonna try to tweak it. Yep, quality. We're gonna swap to performance, back out. Okay, it's better. I can definitely tell that it is not running at 4K anymore. I can also tell that it is probably even sub 1080p, I think, which is fine for the Series S. I mean, it's not really supposed to be a 4K box, but you can definitely tell. All told though, it seems to be running a lot smoother than the last time I tried it on the Series S. The pop-in stuff is still there like we had on PC, maybe a little more aggressive here because of that, but it seems to be running okay, so that's good. A siphon. Pop. Oh, I should have reloaded before this. Oh no. I don't play on controller, can you tell? This is not my bread and butter. Oh, I got it. Here we go, big money. Okay, so I mean, I'm happy to report that Series S has actually seen some major improvements. That's awesome. I mean, again, I think most of us expected them to just totally abandon the game, so this is good to see. It still has a long way to go before I think it's worth like 20 hours of your life or 30 hours or whatever the hell it is to play through the whole thing. I've kind of blocked it out of my memory, if you can't tell. But I mean, probably the best thing that they've done is they've seemingly eliminated those big hitching moments as you move from zone to zone. It used to be that once you cross just an arbitrary line while exploring the world, that there would be a huge drop where the game would just like freeze for a fifth or a sixth of a second, and that's it, and then it would load back in and be totally fine. But every time you pass that threshold, it would totally stutter, and it seems like they've actually fixed it, and that's no longer here, not on PC, not on console, and that's again great to see. I love it.
First floor, homewares, monsters, cultists.
Oh God, the cringy dialogue is still here though. Can they patch that out? Arkane Austin, can you get on that, please? Thank you. I mean, again, it just reminds us of the main point, which is that this is still the same game as it was before. It just runs better now, which... Touche. I did leap off of a building. I'll give them that. Anyway, what I was saying is that this is still the same core game. It just is... like I said, a polished turd. There's not much else to say. I could just keep going in circles and circles. But you know what? The definition of insanity is it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And at this point, I feel like that's me going back and trying Redfall. I'm just steadily declining into a state of total insanity, and this game is to blame. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think of Redfall in the comments section below. I'm interested if you guys have gone back and tried it since they added the 60 FPS support. I am pleasantly surprised by it. It actually seems like a pretty solid improvement over the base game. Again, they have gotten it running better, but now they just need to make a fun game. So, you know, they have some stuff on their to-do list still. The extra encounters and stuff don't seem to really change much of anything. The improved enemy AI is better, but now it's just not so distracting how stupid they are. Now they're just kind of vaguely stupid, which I guess is better and passable, but it's still the same kind of crappy mid game. Not even mid, it's just lackluster that it was, you know, earlier this year. So yeah, not a super exciting day. I was hoping to be pleasantly blown away, but yeah, it's better. It's a shinier turd. Anyway, I'm gonna stop repeating myself. Much love. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go and take a nap because we had like a 4-hour flight today and we had to get up early and everything, and we were 2 time zones ahead. So my internal clock right now, I woke up at 2 a.m. local time, and it's only 2 in the afternoon, but it feels like midnight right now. So I'm gonna go take a nap or something so that I can function tomorrow when we'll be streaming and when you will see this video. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you over on Luke Stevens Live. Just search Luke Stevens Live in the search bar. Come over, say hi. I'll be streaming when this video goes up. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye. And bad outros. Bye. Bye. Now it's just you and me. Yeah, you didn't click off yet. Wow. It's like a private screening. Wow. Look at it. Look at this. It's just us. So intimate.